Yes, welcome everyone once again to uh, one more of our conversations with the tribe of coaches. This has been happening every Monday for this entire year. So we've moved into month number 11. November has begun, and yeah, this overall conversation with Dharmesh started, I think, a year back. And he'd been talking about the aspects of assessment, the idea of ancient wisdom, and that's where my ears got perked, saying how coaching, quite a lot of the things that we use in coaching, comes from a very Western philosophy of life. And can there be some conversations around the aspect of ancient Indian wisdom? And that was how the conversation overall began, and it reached its point of overflow a few months back when he said, let me share what we've been doing with SatvikOrg and the aspect of how leadership and ancient wisdom is there, and how, from a coaching lens, this can act as the stepping point for coaching, especially team coaching, can also happen, and how the assessment can also aid other coaches in using this as one of the effective methods of working. And that's how the conversations began. And I think me and Dharmesh have been in significantly constant touch over the last few weeks in terms of connecting, understanding what happens with the assessment, how it came to be, and how it generally can help coaches. So that's the contexting in terms of what led me here. From what I have seen from the presentation, and I'm very, very sure it is also going to be interesting for all of you, how the aspect of Trigunas can also be a part of this. I know I've let the cat slightly loose from the space, but the aspect of more of which will be possibly shared by Tushar as well as Dharmesh, for representing SatvikOrg. And also, these two very young gentlemen are also coaches themselves. So they don't come from a external background. They see it, they have worked with it, and it is a beautiful moment to say that there are conversations where the wisdom is and the conversations are happening from an Indian front also in terms of coaching, in terms of introducing assessments as well. So with that, I would hand over the baton to Tushar as well as Dharmesh. Welcome to the Tribe of Coaches. And yeah, so we've uh, been doing this for every Monday, Monday after Monday from the last year or the beginning of this year. And prior to that, we were slightly all over the place, but now we've certainly said Monday's home. And so we welcome you to POC, and all the best in sharing what we have to share to all of us. And I'm sure we all will learn whatever we need to learn today.
Thanks, Sunil, for the kind introduction. Yeah, and if people can keep their video on, it would help. Uh, yeah, just so that it's more live, it's more interactive, and really good to see the interest in the Eastern philosophy. I know that some of you have been from Kocharya, and some of you would be also familiar with me if you have been with Kocharya, like Vivek. AB is from Canada, if that's the AB, Abhirambika. So, and yeah, some other people might be familiar with that. So, good to see your interest in that. Uh, okay. Yeah, sure, Shanti. Um, so let me just start with how me and Tushar started with the Satvik Org. So few of the things that we observed in terms of as we have been going through our coaching journey, both of us have done the PCC and I've done the ACTC. And both of us have been in the corporates for more than 30 years. And we said, yeah, let's do something on our own. And we were looking at the various things where we saw that the Western philosophy is quite predominant as far as all the personality assessments are concerned. And both of us come from the agile coaching background, so mainly we call ourselves more of a team coaches than the individual coaches, right? And there is hardly anything as far as the team assessment and those things are concerned. And the other thing is, when we named our organization as a SatvikOrg, right? We are looking at the essence, and the essence means the sattva, right? And then from sattva we came to the SatvikOrg. We started then researching. I was talking with my friend, and he said that Bhagavad Gita 14th chapter is dedicated to this sattva, rajas, tamas, the triguna. And as we kept researching on that, and my spiritual background into the pranahoti meditation helped me there, because this triguna comes before Bhagavad Gita from the Patanjali's Raj Yoga, and before that with the Sankhya philosophy. So here, whatever we talk about would be purely philosophical, nothing to do with the religion. You can term it as a spiritual, it's up to you, but it is a purely philosophy. If you're, say, Sankhya philosophy, Swami Vivekananda says that it's a father of the philosophy. And even all the Western philosophy origin can be traced back to the Sankhya philosophy. So that's how ancient, as I'm getting into some of these details, I'm also learning. And good to see everyone, and happy to learn from you. So one key thing is that many of the personality assessments would try to box you, put you in a particular box, right? That you are this, right? Whereas as we look at it, we are different, and we are different in the different environments. And this is where we'll get into a bit more detail as we go through that. So the dynamic nature of our personality um, is not captured, and which is what we are trying to capture here. Yeah. Okay. So let's go next. Yeah. So these are the few things that we are going to cover in terms of, we'll try to go to the as much as to the root of the our composition possible. And that is our interpretation of the Sankhya philosophy, or 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and Patanjali's Rajo, and applying that in a very practical and simple way to the team coaching and the leadership coaching. So feel free to ask questions at any point in time. You can put it in the chat window, or you can unmute and ask. Be open, and know all of you are curious about it, and that's why you are here. Okay. So with that, let's get started. So just to understand the audience, I said just, yeah, let's just have a quick poll. And Sunil, if you can launch the poll, just to know in which area you are working. You can select maximum three. Not necessary you need to select all the three. You can just select one or two, whatever is your primary area of work. If you do not understand any of the term, then you can ask, and which just means that, yeah, you are not in that area, obviously. Right. I'm more into life coaching, team coaching, and leadership training, mentoring. Is everyone able to see the poll? If
Yeah,
not, then please speak up. Yeah.
13 answers so far, 13 out of the 18. So at least 13 out of 17, because three of us can't answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes. Yeah, I think we could. All done. Everybody is shared. We'll end the poll. Share the results. Yeah, so we have
Okay, cool.
31% in leadership training, 38 in behavioral training, 56, no surprises there with life coaching, leadership coaching, another 50. 1% of the 16 is in C-suite. Seven of them are in team coaching.
Percentage
One,
should, yeah, not
yeah,
60. Yeah.
an interesting poll. And there are three others. So that is also interesting. The others can use the chat window and tell me what is the others that there is.
Yeah. And it's also really good to see the 44% in team coaching. Because I
Yes.
think
So
it's good to see that the team coaching is picking up. That means because otherwise the corporates are hesitant for the team coaching. I'm assuming that many of the people who have in team coaching are into agile coaching because some of
hmm,
the answers participants said they are into agile. Okay, yeah. Vijay says yes. Vijay is in agile. Okay.
Vijay, I think when
Prabhu.
Prabhu,
Okay.
yeah. So, hmm.
Yeah. And others, you can just say the other areas that you are in, just so that we also know if there are some upcoming areas that we need to cater to. Sunil, then yeah, can have a tribe of coaches next webinar on that.
Yes, Govind is into hypnotherapy.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So let's go forward. Yoga facilitation. Cool. Sindhu is in yoga facilitation. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So this is what we talked about the behavior, and yeah, I go to the next one. So as a coaches, you know that that's the tip of the iceberg, and we need to go beneath that, right? To try to make sense out of it. So let's go a little bit below that, and we can have a next poll. So what is your purpose of working, right? Why are you working? So these are just a few options that we have put. If there are others, then you can put it in the chat window. I would say it's again a multiple choice, but don't answer more than three. Otherwise, yeah, you will answer all because nothing is right or wrong here. Feel free to ask questions. Try to prioritize the top one or two, at the most three, and I'm sure that it will help you to look inside and answer that.
Interestingly, Dharmesh and Tushar, nobody is yet put. This is my duty. So 0 out of 14 think that this is duty is not at all being part of the equation here.
Maybe their duty is something else.
So so yeah, I think 16 out of 18 have answered, and I will end the poll if everybody's answered. Mm, mm, Share results. So yeah, 11, almost yeah, 70%. Livelihood, passion, 53% becoming rich. Only 3 out of 17. All of these are good coaches who don't mind not becoming rich. And I think strangely enough, I thought somebody would put this is my duty. Satisfying my desires, 3 out of 17. Serve humanity, 7. Inner fulfillment has to be the highest, possibly. Inner fulfillment and livelihood. So, ikigai-ish space there.
Wonderful.
Hmm.
And yeah, so this is where we see like the coaches is different from the normal corporate people, where it will be more like satisfying the desires or the passion, whereas here we see that it is more about the inner fulfillment. And obviously, yeah, providing livelihood and the family is the basic of that, right? Um, so now the time is to go a bit more deeper in terms of now that you know what you are doing, why you are doing, is where is that coming from, right? So when we look at it as where is that coming from, right? What is that we need to do is in terms of look at the ingredients, right? So for anything, right? If you want to have a dessert, you want to have a sweets. I'm sure a lot of people would had lot of sweets in Diwali, and the people would have a lot of desserts in Christmas coming up. So obviously, to get that taste, you need to look at the content, right? If you have the spices, then obviously you cannot expect the taste to be the sweet, right? So when we look at the content, right, what is that we are composed of, right? So what is that we are composed of? You will say that, okay, body, or when you are looking at the earth, you will talk about the five elements: earth, water, ether, fire, air. Um, and you go beyond that in terms of what is that you are composed of, is that we are composed of the three things, which is called sattva, rajas, and tamas, right? So this is what Sankhya philosophy says and the Bhagavad Gita says. So it is not just the components, but it is also the characteristics. So the nature is constitutes these three elements, and just like RGB, the base colors, red, green, blue, and the composition of that determines the resultant color. Similarly, the composition of these three things determines our behavior. Right? So, however, this is very dynamic, and it is that our behavior is also dynamic, our composition also keeps on changing. You are in a nice environment, you go to the hill station, like behind Shivangi, there is a nice snowfall that is there. So you will find it very peaceful. You go there, you are going to a temple, you find it peaceful, and you go to the shopping. You will lot of desires will come up, even though you are satisfied with what you have. Right? You go to the mall, you will have the similarly various pleasure-seeking desires. So let's get a bit more into the details, because these are the things very dynamic, and how those dynamic things plays into us. For that to understand, first we just understand the different characteristics of these three gunas, or the constituents of the nature. So first, when we are looking at sattva, right, it talks about the purity, wisdom, harmony, and greater good, right? Um, which means that the people who have the high sattva are seeking more knowledge, right, and are seeking fulfillment, right, the real happiness. And this is what they are bound to. And this is where I said that the result of the poll is different here, because 65%, so two-thirds of this group is looking for the inner fulfillment, and that is what is giving them. And you get inner fulfillment when you are doing something good for humanity, when you are doing something good for others. Right? As we go to the rajas, right? Or the Rajoguna, it is driven by the action passion. So highly energetic people would be highly driven to the extent that they may be workaholic, and at the same time, they can drive anything very quickly, right? But with that comes the greed. That means the greed for name, fame, money, and which is what you see nowadays in the with the social media, with lot of political figures. As you see, people are just looking for name and fame rather than doing something, right? People are going for the credit taking than actually doing something. When we go to the tamas, it is the basic survival. And when we are talking about the survival, it's the physical survival, right? The survival of the body. And that is where, when we are just looking at the survival of the body and the pleasure seeking, what it leads to is a lethargy, laziness, and ignoring our duties, right? As we are lazy. Okay. So these are the uh, three constituents and the characteristics of the thing, right? And as we go forward, we'll try to look at it in a more detail, that as these things change, right? How do we change, and how do we utilize this knowledge for increasing our effectiveness? Okay. Um, So first of all, let us look at the what is the intent, right? As we said that, yeah, we have to go below and beneath the surface, right? You said you are doing something. You are into life coaching, into the leadership coaching, leadership training, mentoring, or 44% in the team coaching, right? And then we went to that. Lot of you are looking at inner fulfillment, serving humanity, and satisfying the family needs, right? So the survival comes into survival of us as well as the family, right? Because that's the basic nature, right? As an animal main or the main motive is to survive and to feed the family, take care of the family, protect the family. This is what you would see would be there, right? As we go to the rajas, their main motive is to drive something. It's a action oriented, right? And as we go to the sattva, the intent is to thrive. That means, how can we make the world a better place, right? Because you have more wisdom, you will need to you will want to use that wisdom to drive something, right? At no point in time it will be like, okay, any of this is 0%. That is not possible. We'll have everything. uh, just as an example, if you are looking at our hair, right, you will say hair does not have a life, right? But it grows, right? So there is some movement there, right? It is doing something, right? So from that point of view, when you look at it, we have all the three, and it keeps on changing. So from the intent, we go to the feelings, right? As we go to the feelings, what are the feelings of the people with a high sattva, right? So the feelings of the people with high sattva, because they have the wisdom and they are looking for happiness. Okay. They are more confident. So what is the wisdom that the people in sattva have, right? So the main wisdom that they have is that the body is something that is temporary, right? And soul is something that is permanent. So if you get like, I know Vivek is quite a bit into the spirituality, and similarly, I'm assuming that Govind Sensei is into the hypnotherapy and yoga. He would also be into that, right? So when you look at these three gunas, right, they are binding us into the body. Right? So the wisdom that we get with sattva is that there is something higher, there is something more that we need to do than the survival. Okay. And then we need rajas to move towards that, right? So that is where the people with sattva will have high confidence, they will have courage to do the things, and they will be contented with whatever they have, right? The people with the high rajas would have the feelings called acronym is PEG. Obviously, it's not the PEG that you might be thinking about. Right? It's they'll be very energetic, possessive, and greedy. Right? And the people with tamas would be more like safe. So as few people are from the agile background, right? You know that the safe framework is very safe, and right, that's why the corporates like the safe, right? And it does not give you anything, but yeah, it's pretty safe, so they can claim that they have done something. But when we look at the acronym from the tamasic or the tamas perspective, right, they will be under stress, they'll be very anxious, there will be fear, and they will be very exhausted quite fast. They work a little and then they will feel tired. Nowadays, in the environment, you see that there is a lot of anxiety with the social media, with Google Maps, mobile, right? You need to know the location every second, right? Even if there is a 1 minute, some other route is faster, you will immediately change your direction and you will take that route, right? So there is so much anxiety, and you see that that is creating a stress, right? Obviously, the work culture, depending on the environment that you are, nowadays, toxic culture is becoming very famous in the corporate environment. Although it is not a new thing, but as a term, it is getting a bit more famous, right? So, and that is where we say stress, right? There is a fear with the AI coming in. कि job का क्या होगा, right? Whether will I have my job? What are the jobs that will go away? What are the jobs that will remain? How do I remain relevant in the things, right? So those are the general feelings. So you can look at it from your perspective as well as from the perspective of the leaders, the teams that you are working with, and the environment that you are working with. What are the feelings that you are observing, right? And as you observe those feelings, you will be also able to get to the intent. Right? Yesterday only, I was talking with someone, uh, and I was asking him, "What is your intent?" Right? He said that, "Okay, I like to go and meet friends." And I meet my friends every Friday evening. Said, okay, that's good. But what is your intent behind it, right? Is it to do something good to the friend? Is it something for because you feel good just talking with the people, or is it that you want to entertain them, right? So obviously there is some intent which is behind that, and the intent would drive the feelings and the behavior. So now when we look at what are the behaviors, so what are the behaviors related to the stress, anxiety, fear, right? And this is what you would see, the minimal work or the quiet quitting, the new terminology that has been popular since last couple of years. You'll see the people who are more blaming, complaining, uh, they are just task focused. They don't care about the others. Okay, I have been told to do this task. I will only do this task, right? They don't look at any bigger picture. And they would be also at the same time by complaining and with their feelings of fear and anxiety would be demotivating others. Yeah. When we look at the behavior of the people who have the high rajas, what we see is that they would be very hardworking. They would be ambitious. They would want to excel in their field. Right? They would want to be topmost in their field. Right? And along with that, what comes is the competitive nature. Right? If you want to be at the top, right, you don't want anyone else to be at the top. right? So it can lead to a cutthroat competition or the greed, and that is can lead to the hiding the information, protecting themselves, protecting the IP. Right? And the people with high sattva will always look for the win-win situation, good for all, and that is where they would be more caring for the people, more compassionate to the people, broader thinking, and they would be more inspiring for the others. Okay, so with this, now I'm sure you will be able to relate to your situation, the type of people that you are interacting with, the type of people that you are training or coaching. You would see multiple of these behaviors, and you would be able to see that what type of a behaviors are predominant, what type of a behaviors are at certain point in time. Okay, yeah. Any questions so far before we go forward? Just to make sure that people are with me, and if you are you have got so far, what is there? Just give a thumbs up or ask, unmute
Yeah.
and ask the question. Yeah.
Yeah, I think unmute and ask is completely fine. We're about 19 of us. Unmute and ask is fine. Nothing on the chat, but I had a question saying how much of these changes situationally and how much of it remains constant in terms of who we are.
Wonderful. Right question, and that's where the next slide will come
I didn't know the next line after that question. Question was still around the same.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the Dharmesh, even the behaviors could be contagious, right? I mean, one strong Rajas person can,
Interesting.
uh, you know, just I thought it
Influence.
could be contagious. It can
Yeah,
make one other person get into tamasic mode or into Rajas mode.
yeah. You want
So,
to give an example with certain behavior or
uh, a leader who is very energetic and he wants to be driven very agile, fast. So the whole team has to follow the line, right? I mean, follow him. So eventually it becomes Rajasic, where they are at the task, they are not bothered about anything else. So I thought it is contagious.
absolutely. I won't say it's more than contagious. It will have an effect. Whether that effect highly Rajasic people, right? The way they deal with the other people make them tamasic or make them rajasic
Yeah.
will depend on that, right?
Yeah.
um, with a lot of executives, what is asked about them is execute, 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 right? And the more they are able to execute, uh, they are being rewarded. And so, and when that is just their parameter for the rewards, because the Rajasic people are driven by the rewards, they may stop caring for the people below them, right? And if they stop caring for the people below them, right, then the people might be highly motivated. I've seen many teams where the pressure, as the pressure increase, the team became demotivated. Earlier, they were going beyond their work, they were trying to take a broader responsibility. But with the pressure, they started doing minimal work. They started then blaming the manager, blaming the company, and so on. So that's an interrelationship, and good to see that you are able to relate to that. Yeah.
I think typically also in sport, right? That's where you see teams. So you've seen possibly the influence of, say, Saurav Ganguly, Rahul Dravid, Sachin, three different styles of captaincy. And maybe now more recently, Virat, MSD, and Rohit. So, uh, and far more recently is Harmanpreet and Jemima and all that, right? So the team sort of thrives on, say, one or two individuals here who set the tone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if you have seen the yesterday's Women's World Cup, right? Few of the people, especially like Jamie, Rucha, highly energetic, highly driven. You can see the energy oozing out from them, right? And that's what Shefali Verma, right? So, and that was, and like Harmanpreet, yeah, cool, trying to keep the things calm, keep her nerves under control, and Mithali giving her, not Mithali, sorry, Smriti giving her wisdom and continuously discussing with Herman. Yeah. So, as a cohesively, they were working quite well together. Yeah. So, yes, we need different types. We need the different types of people. And at the same time, we need to see how, as a composition, how the things are evolving. Yeah. So let's go to the next slide. Right. So when you look at this, right, in the center, it is self, and the bigger circle, you can consider it as a universe. Here we have just taken the three things, that home, company, and social, right? Now the thing is, now think about it. Is your behavior same in the different situations, right? Like what Sunil was asking. And at home, you would be very free, you are not afraid of anything, or you may be afraid of your spouse, your in-laws, or your kids. You never know, right? In the company, yeah, depending, again, same thing on the environment, right? When you are with the team, you may behave very differently. When you are with the boss in your one-on-one, you may behave very differently, right? Your feelings can change from being very motivated, ambitious, to being very fearful or under stress, depending on the type of the conversation that you are having. And similarly, you can look at the social, right? Um, so let's go next question. So I would just ask everyone question. You can unmute and answer. What do you think is the reason behind the different behaviors? Uh, we consider ourselves as me, right? This is what Dharmesh is. This is what Govind is, or this is what I am. But we are different. What do you think is the reason?
This is Vijay Verma here. So I think every area has a different role and the different expectation. So maybe because of that, our behavior is different in different situations.
Yeah, good. Yeah, yeah, Vivek.
I was going to say the same thing. We assume different roles in each of these contexts and environments, and we're playing out that role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stimuli is different in each possible situation. So change in stimuli, change in response.
Stimuli is different. Okay. Okay. Good.
Okay. I feel that each person is different based on, again, what gunas you mentioned. So tamasic person tries to survive in each area, and gets molded into each of the areas, and the person's behavior will be different because he's trying to mold into different regions. And rajas person will always be dominant and getting what he or she wants to get. So but the tamasic person will be more of a giver, and being content in himself, whatever come himself or herself, come whatever may. So the behavior will be constant across, because courage is there, no fear, so no survival instincts.
Yeah. So let me ask the question differently. What is same across all the three? What Sunil was asking.
Say that again. What is same across all the three?
Right.
The
So I think
person,
some characteristics or traits we do carry across all of them, yes.
Like,
The self is the same all across.
yeah, but what part of self or what is same in that self?
I think
So,
more
for
of
example,
uh,
somebody who is sorry, go ahead, Vijay.
I was saying more of sattva in self must be same throughout. Just thinking aloud.
Huh? Yeah, Vivek?
Yeah, no, what I was saying was so certain characteristics or traits you may carry across all of these. They might be part of all of those identities. Like perhaps somebody might be an extrovert, somebody might be easily irritated, somebody might be very, very patient, etc., etc.
Yeah. Niharika, you were saying something?
No, just thinking maybe just uh, extending what Vivek said. Maybe some personality traits, we would carry all across.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
so the Ramesh just wanted to ask the question, wanted to be clear on the question. So you're expecting some traits which are common, or what is common?
So just it's general, right? You can talk about the traits. Vivek talked about not the traits, but what can be common, right? Or the reason behind that. Anything, yeah.
So the experience can be common. The person who is experiencing and the experience itself could be the common
Okay,
thing.
good. Yeah. So now we are going to the Sakshi Bhava.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else? Dr. Lindsay or Dr. Winston? Stephanie, Uzma, anything you would want to add to the conversation? Suchita?
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you,
Yes.
Suchita.
Okay, great. So I was saying uh, to the question on what is same through the three spaces we live in is probably our core and our values. And why we behave differently probably comes from also, the expectations set in each of these parts of our life by the recipients, I would say, by the people with whom we engage, and also our own feeling of, you know, how much I can get away with or how much I want to give it, things like that.
Very good. Okay. Yeah. So Tushar, can just go ahead. And what you said is in the next one also, right? So there are certain values, certain beliefs that we have gathered over a period of time. Some of that might be very strong. Some of that may taper off over a period of time, right? So let's say, means I'm a vegetarian, right? So no matter what environment I'm in, I will still be a vegetarian. But let's say I've been put into Antarctica and I don't have any option, and if I'm there for more than a year, then for the survival, I'll have to do something, right? And it may happen that I can become a non-vegetarian, right? Um, so similarly, there are various things that you can see that how your beliefs have been changing over a period of time, and how the effects of environment, what you all mentioned is the effects of the environment, the role that you are playing, the expectation from the others, how that has changed your personality, right? And that is what we are trying to capture now, right? And that is where one part is self, but self is still changing. And like Vivek may like this. There is a book, or there is someone who has written "No Self, No Problem," and it says self is a process. It's not a person, because it's constantly changing. Yeah. So now let us get into how we are capturing this dynamism of the things and the interplay of these things. Right. So what we do when we get to the team, right? So we have a assessment, team survey, and based on that, we understand the team belief and the behavior, right? And as you said, that the behavior will have the effect. Some core beliefs will be very strong, which will have an effect on their behavior. The leader or the manager will have a strong effect on the behavior, depending on how your beliefs are strong, right? As I was taking the example of I'm a vegetarian, I had been to Germany, and all my colleagues, and at that time I was pretty junior, I was an engineer, and other directors were there, very senior people were there, and all of them were like proper non-vegetarian, right? So they used to tease me when we were walking, see, this is a grass, go eat it, kind of a thing. Wine, it's a grape juice, why can't you take it, right? So and it could have an effect on me. It depends on my belief, how much I believe and how much I want to compromise on that, right? So the leadership style would have an effect, and similarly the organization perception, organization policies would have the effect. Like Prabhu was telling, right, that certain things can have an impact. So let's say if the team is highly driven, highly energetic, more rajasic, there is a layoff, suddenly the team will get into survival mode, right? Because although they are driven, they are confident, right? But some of the people will get into the survival, and that can affect the whole environment because of the company policies. Certain company actions can have a effect on that, and this is what we try to capture, right? So then the thing is, as a leader, what is that we need to do is to, for you to thrive in an environment, you want the team also to drive and thrive. Right? So this is just one sample graph of one of the team that we worked with, where you can say that the belief shows that there is a high tamasic, but the leader has a high rajasic, and this is where you can see that the team tamasic characteristics has reduced and the rajasic has somewhat increased. And you can see, interestingly, the sattvic of the leader has also got percolated into the team. Okay. Yeah, so with that, I will hand over to Tushar to talk about the case study into the more detail of one of the organizations that we have worked with. Yeah, go ahead, Tushar.
Thanks, Dharmesh. So I'm assuming that all of you are able to hear me. Okay. Before I get started, do we have any questions so far? I hope the beautiful discussion that we had in the last 15 to 20 minutes is all captured in this holistic view. If we consider the context of an organization where the leader is working with the team, and the team is also influenced by the surrounding organization. So you can also try to draw a similar view of yourself in another setup. For example, your social setting. How are you being influenced by your own beliefs in your social setting? How are you being influenced by your friends, your general acquaintances, and some other aspects as well? So it's a very wonderful thing to just look within and see how your behavior changes in different environments, in different situations, in different instances, regardless of what your belief is. And when you are aware of these things, you will be able to interact with people in a much different way than what you are already doing. And that is the core of the philosophy. Basically, how do you influence people around you by understanding your own self and the situation around you, the environment, and making sure that you are able to get your work done or get or influence people in the way you want. So that's what we did with one of the teams. Okay, so this was the before the pre-assessment. So as Dharmesh mentioned already, we have created an assessment which identifies or tries to identify what is the composition of Triguna in the team's belief, in their behavior, in the leadership style of their manager or the leader, and how does the team perceive the organization. And we draw this as a holistic view to understand what influences which aspect. So this is what it was before we started working with this team. And after around 8 months, this was the result that you see on the right side. So you could definitely see a lot less of tamas in every aspect. So even the team was able to manage to change their own belief. Maybe slightly, but yes, that was one of the outcomes of what we did with the team in these 8 months. So to go into a little bit more detail on what this team was. So we worked with a small team of around 8 to 10 people. Okay. It was part of a small startup which was working on some test automation tool. And most of the team members were belonging to Gen Z. And at the risk of generalization, we typically generalize the behavior of Gen Z. And that's what we also observed there. So when we did the initial team assessment. So these colors that you see, light yellow and light red and then dark color, these correspond to Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Based on the assessment, the initial assessment, it was found out that although the team was very compassionate, each team member was of very helping nature. Still, they were afraid to speak up. They were not able to manage their time, and they were focused only on KPIs. And that was really impacting the team's outcome. What was expected out of the team, they were not able to provide that to the organization. Now, this is when the leader of this team approached us and we started working with them. And what we did is the first thing we did was the goal setting workshop. Now, this would be similar to a normal coaching conversation or a coaching process that we have, right? To understand the current state, to understand where they want to go, our clients or our coaches, and then help them, work with them to create a roadmap and create an accountability. So in a way, the process remains same, but this is just a little bit more detail on what we actually did with this team. So goal setting workshop, we help them understand their current situation based on the outcome of the assessment, which helped them understand what behaviors they needed to inculcate, what behaviors they needed to change or reduce. And we help them also to identify what would it impact after changes in their behavior, how will the organization impact. Okay. So all of these things were discussed in that goal setting workshop and based on the roadmap that we have created with them. So it was again a co-creation. They also identified that they needed some help in terms of how to do task breakdown or how to inculcate some more courage to speak up. Okay, some of these activities were tangible, some of these were really intangible in nature. And they also identified what changes they needed to see in the leader. The team felt that the leader was kind of dominating, and due to that, they were not able to speak up. So that was one of the action items that came out of that goal setting workshop. A couple of more action items came up for the leader to change, and we helped the leader through coaching conversations to implement those things. Now, these two graphs, the holistic views we already saw. And after 8 months of me working with this team and the leader, this was the new team behavior that was observed. Now, again, this was the assessment was done again after 8 months, and this is what has come out of that assessment. So a lot of ownership, dedication saw an improvement here. The team members were able to balance their work and life. They felt that they are more open, and they have increased their collaboration and coordination among themselves. And obviously, speaking up, they were able to take more responsibilities by their own without the leader asking them to do that. So obviously, accountability improved, and it is not just the behaviors that changed. So by changing these behaviors, they were able to come up with the outcome, the business results were really awesome after 8 months. What they saw was, and we have a solid data which talks about these improvements. Okay. They saw 33% reduction in average cycle time of the output that they were creating, and 18% reduction in cost of development. And all of these things, even when there was a lot of changes in the environment, the team got rebalanced. 3 or 4 team members were repurposed or reassigned to some other work, and a couple of new team members joined during these 8 months. And there was a lot of pressure as usual that we see. So even when there were a lot of these changes, the team was able to show these improvements, and due to the behavioral changes that they incorporated within. So this was one of the cases that I wanted to talk about. So I'll pause here for a moment and see if you have any questions.
Hi, Tushar. Just was curious to know about the tool that you all used. Is it developed by you all, or there's already some scientific tool available?
Yes, we developed it on our own. It's a proprietary tool which we call as SRT Insights.
Okay.
And it has gone multiple iterations. So we started working with this tool way back in February last year, right, Dharmesh? We started working with this. And by looking at the outcomes and the different conversations which we had with our clients and different teams, right now I can say that you never know. It will change in future as well. But today it is in such a shape that we can deploy it anywhere. So SRT Insights is an assessment based on which we create a report. And that report presents the belief, the constituent, the composition of Triguna in the team's belief, the team's behavior, the leadership style, and whatever you saw in this holistic view. We have a similar SRT Insights assessment for a leader individual, as well as for any individual contributor. People not necessarily work in teams. All employees don't necessarily work in teams. So there might be some individual contributors also. Or somebody else who is not working may want to understand themselves and understand their impact on the environment, on their family, and similar such things. So we have an assessment for individuals as well. So 3 different sets of SRT insights depending on the situation.
So this assets the personalities of the leader and the team, right?
Not exactly personality. So this is where it is different from the typical
Okay.
assessment that you see in
So
the industry.
gunas.
Yes. So we are not talking
Okay.
about personality as such. We are talking about what they are made up of.
So personality basis these gunas, right? What is more prominent at the moment when we are assessing?
Yes,
So which
yes,
guna is prominent?
yes. And it can change. It will change.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So personal experience, I was able to change my beliefs also in the past 4 to 5 years.
Hmm.
Okay, just before COVID, I started with my coach training. Okay, and during the training, I was able to change my beliefs, or my mentor was able to change my belief. I can say that. So I'm a changed person. If you would have seen me 5 years ago, I'm a completely changed person. Dharmesh knows that.
Question, Tushar?
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
So you say, so aren't these gunas also in some sense a reflection of one's current personality? Why do you say not personality? Or do you say, you mean it's a little deeper, it's not personality in the traditionally used sense?
Yeah, typical if you talk about MBTI or DISC or similar kind of assessments, right? This is not similar to that because this is specific to an environment or an ecosystem. If I am talking about SRT insights for a team, okay, or SRT insights for a leader. Now, this assumes that the leader is working with a team and in an organization. Okay. Outside of that environment, it will not work, or this may not be applicable to that person.
I think I understand what you're saying. So you're saying it is very contextual personality in a manner of speaking. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
And again, and that's the reason we don't say that it's a personality assessment.
Understand.
Right, just to make it more practical, is that if you're considering the team as your work team, you would answer your behavior and the team behavior differently. And if you're considering your home family as your team, you would answer some of the questions differently.
Right. Yeah, I think I understand. The reason I was just a little this thing was because I think it's about what meaning we assign to the word personality, right? In some sense, like the way I think about it, we show up with different personalities, sometimes say at home, at work, in X and Y and Z. But I understand the point you guys are trying to make. Got it.
So the belief may come out to be more or less same, but the behavior would still be different. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Tushar.
Yeah. Any more questions before I move on? Okay. So
one question,
yeah.
just one question. Sorry, this assessment which you guys have designed, is it only meaningful in the context of how you show up in a particular team, in a particular organization, or even more generally? Like, say, for example, how we show up in the world.
Yeah, for that, as I said, if you want to have or if you want to get assessed as a leader of a team, we have a separate assessment. If you want to get assessed as a person outside of your corporate environment, then you may want to take that assessment because that will talk about how you are as a person outside of your work environment. But as a holistic way, I'm not sure whether we can create that, but we'll have to think. That's a good point. But we have, I think we have discussed that earlier, Dharmesh, right? Whether we want to go that personality assessment route. And
I think for context, the reason I'm curious is like, let's say, for example, us as human beings, right? Us as coaches. Like, we don't necessarily see ourselves as part of a particular team in a particular organization, but some of these insights might be useful for us in our own journey of evolving in consciousness.
Yes. We definitely have that assessment as well. So it won't talk about team. Yeah.
So just one thing is where we want to differentiate is right that it's not we are personality. It is how our behavior is getting affected in the different environments, that awareness. And then for us to be effective in the different environment, what is that we need to do? What we need to adapt? So it's from that point of view, it's more of a holistic assessment, I would say. And the awareness would be more holistic than just as an individual behavioral awareness, to more of a environmental effect on the individual and individual's effect on the environment awareness.
I think I understand that, but I see how it's holistic in terms of it. How I show up in that context is a function of who I am, but also a function of my environment, both the team environment and the organizational environment. Understand that part. I'm curious about the more cross-sectional view in terms of how I am as a person also determines how I would show up, say, across a variety of environments. The focus here is more on the former rather than the latter. Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. Vijay, I'll take up this question, Vijay, from you and then move ahead. Yeah.
Maybe most of it has been answered, but I'm still struggling to. I've understood what people have discussed, Vivek and yourself. I'm still struggling to really understand. When you say contextual, what does it really mean? Because if I'm a slightly angry person, I may be less angry in corporate environment, and I may be more free to show my anger at home. That's what is my belief system or my value system, right? So I'm not going to be a very happy person at home and absolutely short-tempered person at corporate or office environment. That's not going to happen. So I'm really struggling to understand when you say it's contextual. What is contextual to what extent? And then obviously the environment also changes, right? Every leadership change, the organization's way of working, way of thinking, way of organizing and communicating between themselves is also going to change. Personally, I've experienced that as well in various offices. So some things are very extremely demanding, and some after a leadership change, things may relax or things may go more further
Yeah.
worse.
A very interesting point, Vijay. Thanks. So it depends. Again, it depends. The typical coach's answer. Uh, how well are you able to remain the same in different situations, right? Without getting influenced by the surrounding environment in all of these situations. It depends on you, how you are constituted, what you are constituted of, okay, and how well you are able to maintain that constitution within you. Now, this is what is interesting to really understand. If you are uh, the composition of Triguna in your belief and in your behavior doesn't change in different environments, then you are very well suited to influence the surrounding environment, right? But to
No,
achieve that,
I
yeah.
think we are going a slightly different. I'm
Hmm.
not saying, I'm saying the every person agree that every human being subconsciously also will modulate according to the environment. That is something which is very natural,
Hmm.
right? When you go into a airplane versus when you go into a train versus a bus versus when you go to a home or an office. But I'm saying we can modulate the behaviors to a certain degree, but I'm not going to modulate as a person. So let's come back to the conversation of SRT insights. When you said
Hmm.
it is contextual, I'm still struggling to understand. And if it's taking up more time, let's move on. I don't want to
No,
hold
no,
the
that's
whole
okay. That's okay.
play for my question.
We still have some 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah. Dharmesh, would you want to answer this question? Maybe I'm not able
Yeah.
to.
Okay, sure. So Vijay, the idea of the SRT insight is to be more aware in terms of where you are modulating and how you are modulating, right? And what is that you are happy with, what is that you are satisfied with, and what is that you don't want to modulate and where you would want to influence the environment with. So SRT insight would be the starting point of that. And but once you understand how those things are happening, what we try to coach people is in terms of how you can have a more impact on the environment. And let's say, for example, right, let's take a global case of Trump tariffs, just to take an example, and how different countries are reacting to that. Right? Some of them are reacting with the fear. Some of them are not reacting with the fear. Right. And again, it depends on the situation, it depends on the context, it depends on the confidence of the people and the support that they have, maybe within the country or across the countries. If you are able to understand also where the other person is coming from, that the other person is using threat as the primary thing to get the work done, and you are more sattvic, you are more confident, that then you will not get influenced by the threatening person. If you are more of a tamasic person, then you will immediately get influenced by the threats, right? Because that's the way of training the animals. You show them, you hit them, you beat them, and they will do whatever you want them to do. Yeah. So this will increase your awareness. And then the thing is, with that increased awareness, how you are able to be a better person and to be more influential, more effective in your environment or in the multiple environments. Does that help, Vijay?
Yeah, it does help. Let's move on. Yeah, thanks.
Tushar.
Okay, thanks, Dharmesh. So as we saw in the case study, the previous slide, this is what the approach is that we typically follow for teams. And obviously, when I say teams, leaders are part and parcel of these teams. So some interventions as needed after the goal setting workshop, which after a period of time, whatever the team decides, let's say 3 months or 4 months or 6 months, we typically try to move out of that engagement and by helping the leaders and teams for enabling them for continuous improvement. And obviously, these interventions and the goal setting will help them to come up with business outcomes. So, this is a typical coaching process. Okay, if you talk about any coaching framework, starting with Grow, this is what typically happens. What is different here is the SRT insights we talked a lot about, and we usually work with teams. And what is so different is we help these organizations and teams to transform 3 levels at a time. So, as Dharmesh mentioned a little bit earlier, we are working with a leader. The team also gets transformed. The leader himself or herself gets transformed, and the leader is able to influence and transform the surrounding organizations by understanding the composition of Trigunas in the organization and what needs to be done to help the team to improve. And as we have been discussing, this is based on the Vedic philosophy of Triguna. And we don't work as consultants. We partner with these teams in their improvement journey. To take this forward, so we have created a couple of programs for teams and people and leaders to participate in. So the signature program is the SatvikOrg Leader Foundation program, and another one which deals with individuals who want to improve their quality of relationships and interpersonal effectiveness. We have the SatvikOrg Interpersonal Effectiveness program. The objective is similar, and the uniqueness is also similar for both these programs. The difference is the target audience we have been talking about, and these are upcoming in this month. So if you would like to take part or have your clients or coaches or teams that you're working with benefit from this program, we can have further discussion on that, on how we can help you out with this. So that was about it, which we wanted to talk. Dharmesh, if you want to add anything, we still have 10 minutes. And yeah, we need to give these 10 minutes to Sunil back.
So just one thing. So what we are looking at is more to spread the concept, and we want people to get more deeper into the roots, right? Into the depth of philosophy. And with that, we have started this leader program. We thought that, yeah, just me and Tushar would not be sufficient to spread that concept. And it's difficult to get into the organization uh, who would really accept it. And what we find is it's more uh, people, individuals, it's they align with the concept. It's easy to get that concept spread more faster, and that's the intent, that the people get to the root of the things. Yeah. That's all. And with that, yeah, I would like to thank Sunil for giving us the opportunity. And yeah, if you have any questions, we are happy to take any questions that we have or comments, and then we'll hand it over to Sunil. Yeah. Some people have got dropped off. I think they had few other
So
engagements.
you said the programs are typically for 2 hours for 4 weeks. Was it an 8-hour program in total?
Yeah, so the SatvikOrg Leader is an 8-hour program. The interpersonal is a 6-hour program. It's only 2 weekends for 3 hours each Saturday.
Okay. And so this SRT Insights, right, is covered in both?
Yes.
Yes, the only thing is in the leader, you can, if you're taking with the certification, it will be covered for your team also. So from that point of view, if you look at it, the cost is nothing. Yeah, it's basically you want to just.
So essentially, it's a form, it's an Excel, it's something, and we'll be able to use it. Is that what it transpires to?
No, it's a survey, and you will get the report for yourself and the team.
Right.
And
Okay.
you want to do the certification, then you will get the post implementation also, another instance of that survey. And the next report. So just like the Tushar showed the case study before and after, the same thing we would want to have it from you before and after to be able to give you that certificate. And we are here to mentor you.
Hmm.
If you're looking at it
And
at a more
if you-
broader application, we can, yeah, discuss it offline.
sure.
Sure.
And if someone misses, then you have a recording to cover a class?
We plan to run this every alternate month, at least as of now. So you can get in touch if you're interested. Just let us know if these dates doesn't work for you. We'll get in touch. Sunil. Yeah. So in terms of, yeah, out of this 4, if you miss anyone, yes, there will be a recording. So all the sessions will be recorded and recording will be available, if that was your question.
Yeah, thank you. That answers the question.
Sunil, over to you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you to Dharmesh and Tushar and all that, all those who've been also waiting until we close, right? So that's the most interesting bit. The recording of this session will also be put in the Tribe of Coaches and shared in different forums as well. But I found it really interesting in terms of this aspect of, I think the takeover is no self, no problem. I've noted it down. So that's I was trying to see what is that aspect, personality, and the aspect of values, perspectives, beliefs. And I also saw with the case study that the changes reflected in all three components. It's not one and uh, the other things were kept constant or things like that. So I found it very interesting, very fascinating to see the same. And yeah, for you to have developed something in-house and through multiple iterations, I'm sure this has come quite a long way from where it is. And it's simple because it is an aspect of three, right? And three things we always say is the power of threes will get you home. So and I also like the concept of the peg and the three C's. The safe was a four-letter word, but still, it is a beautifully constructed space. And I think you should talk more about the aspects of these case studies, and for sure you will gather more interest in the days to come. And yeah, so thanks once again in terms of sharing this with all of us, enabling us to learn more and see the possibilities of how the Trigunas can be a starting point, a tool, a new learning, and many other perspectives to come. So thank you for your time and for giving TOC a new opening, a new learning, and new possibilities for us. So unless others have a question or any questions, you can always ask or reach out to me, and I'll connect you to Dharmeshwar. I think their contact details are also mentioned in there. Else, I am always available to be contacted, and we can take it from there.
So just one thanks, Sunil, and also everyone, right, for having the interactive discussion and asking the challenging questions. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes.
Thanks, Sunil. Thanks,
And
Sunil, for providing with this
yeah,
opportunity.
same here, Tushar, same here. So maybe one more aspect which I wanted to share, which I will just share, is this. So, some of you have left the space, but the Tribe of Coaches is running its second annual online conference. So on 28th and 29th of November, 28th being Friday, 29th being Saturday. And like always, it will be on Zoom, and there are flexible fee options. We will get to that, but this is the aspect which I don't think anybody in any of the sessions have covered so far, is the art of chemistry called conversations. And this is a standard of how poetry meets coaching. My favorite being how TA and coaching can be a space together. And this is something even I am not sure what will happen, but I have anyway said this will be a masterclass. Other than that, LinkedIn, getting your clients, how do you start observing? And most importantly, a young coach's dilemmas, all of possibly will be answered from collective wisdom and say what worked for us. So these are 8 masterclasses spread over 2 days. And if this seems interesting, please to reach out and we will discuss further. And you will keep hearing more of these across the month because we have another 25 days to go to this. And with this event, we also close the year, and possibly with this event being shared, we also close today's call. So thank you for all of you that's been here, and maybe if you could just switch on your cameras, I think we should have done this a little earlier. That was so. And when peak capacity was at 2025, I should have taken a screenshot. I sort of forgot about it. But otherwise, if you could just switch it on, I just take a snapshot and we should be home.
Sunil, just one question. With the young coaches, do you have a definition of a young coach or the
Young
age
coaches,
limit?
see, young coaches are all coaches are young coaches only. So ask all MCCs. They say, oh, we're always learning. We're forever young.
Yeah, but
But
I would really ask those MCCs, are they really learning? Okay.
That's a reflection in itself. Let's forget that leads us. Okay, so the ones are switched on the screen. 1, 2, 3, and go. All right. So thanks, Vijay. Here, just in time. So that's that for today, and the recording and the conversations will reach you soon. And once again, thank